everyone, it's Silver. It is Monday, March 2nd. I just want to say a quick hello to all new viewers and an awesome welcome back must also go out to all returning viewers. If you did tune in last time and decided to come back, I really do appreciate it. You can find me on Ravelry as Silverluna2112 or 2112, at Silver's Treats on Instagram, and at Silver's Knitting on Twitter. I am so sorry it has been a while. I have been pretty tunnel visioned when it comes to my crafting and honestly not wanting to stop but to take a break and come by and just tell you guys all about it. I'm so sorry. But if I'm being completely honest, it also happens that my mental health actually took quite a hit the past couple months for many reasons I won't go into now because I don't want to bore you. And honestly, I was just trying to snap myself out of it, especially since now the dash crazy is going to be starting. I'll explain that in probably the next episode when I have more time. Anyway, a quick note before I do get started. I will be going to a bi-weekly podcast for both March and April, and then after that, every week for May. Basically, what this means is that this will probably be the longest episode you'll probably see for at least a couple months, if not for the rest of the year. I'll make sure to have all of the timestamps for the different sections below. So if you wish to jump around, you can always go ahead and do so. I do understand, trust me on that. Oh, and also since the last time we talked, I did add some new title cards and revamped a few other things you'll see in a bit. I can't wait for you to see them. Please go ahead, if you would like to, go ahead and just comment down below in the comment section what you think of the new titles. I would appreciate the input. Either way, please grab your drink of choice, your crafting, and away we go. Today I'm actually drinking a nice cup of, believe it or not, pumpkin spice coffee. We have about 2 more bags left, so I'm doing my best to get rid of it. So before I move on, I'm just going to take a quick drink. Okay, so in this episode, we do have finished objects, or FOs. O's are half objects. We have WIPs, which stands for work in progress. We do have Silver's Unraveling Fast, Back to the Future, X's and O's, Radio GaGa, Silver's Book Pile, Silver and the Case of the Screen Time, The More You Know, My Favorite Things, and The End of the Road. Since there's a lot on this list, I should probably get going, right? Let's go on to the next segment. In this segment, I'm talking about all the different things that I finished since the last time we talked. The first one is what I called Gingy's Spa Day. This pattern was the Hot Chocolate with Pink Marshmallow Socks by CC Almond. And I did use Artistic Yarn by Abby in the Gingerbread Stripe colorway, as well as a size US 1.5, which is a 2.5 millimeter on 2 16-inch Addy Sarks. I have had these on the needle since last holiday season in 2018 is when I cast it on. So I thought it was time I finally finished them. What do y'all think? The next thing that I did manage to finish was my January 2020 Desert Vista Dyeworks socks. For this one, I used the pattern Vanilla is the New Black by Nia Fletcher. I used the Desert Vista Dyeworks, or DVDs, the 13th Doctor colorway. Oh, I do love these socks, you guys. What do you think? And I did use a size US 1, which is a 2.25 on 9-inch circulars all the way down to the toe when I switched over to 2 16-inch circulars. The next thing that I did finish was what I called February's Perfect Pitch, which is essentially my February socks from 2020. This was a new one since the last time we talked to you guys. And I also used the Vanilla is the New Black pattern by Nia Fletcher. I used Desert Vista Dyeworks Viso Base in the Pitch Perfect colorway. And also on a size US 1, which is a 2.25 millimeter 9-inch circulars up until the toe. And this one actually I hosted in my Stained Glass Beauty and the Beast bag by Molly Klein Designs. I really like this bag, you guys. Spoiler alert, you may see this bag again this year. Anyway, the next thing that I did finish since the last time we talked was what I called heart-shaped box. I essentially made heart shapes, make from a 2-round granny square with a little bit of an extra. What do you guys think? They're super cute. I couldn't stop making them to save my life. Anyway, I used Karen 1 pound in the off-white colorway that I have left over from some other project that I will mention later. I used a size I hook, which is a 5.5 millimeter. And that was the Jimmy Bean's Wool Smart Stick crochet hooks that I have. I absolutely love this one, you guys. It's purple. That's why I keep trying to find projects to use with it. Oh yes, the next thing that I did finish was what I called LOL what? This peacock is starting its stuff on the Quidditch pitch. Obviously, this is a new project since the last time we talked. This is actually what I've had a majority of my laser focus on. It is actually the second project for Quidditch for the Harry Potter crochet knit and crochet house cup that I participate in. This was a 13 or 14 day project, which is amazing. I used the Peacock Shawl pattern by EFA Design Team, EFA. Put a link to their shop down below. And I used lots of different yarns. The pattern itself called for 6 colors. I ended up using 5 because I had a lot of yarn left over of one of them, and I wanted to use as much of the color as I could. You'll see why. The first one I used was Nerd Girl Yarns Bounce and Stomp in the hashtag LOL what colorway. It's part of the title. The second one was Hue Loco Merino Sock. The colorway is It's So You. I also used Lolo Did It Plush Sock in the Polyjuice Potion colorway. I also used the Once Upon a Corgi Handmade Penny Tell Me to Smile One More Time colorway. I love that reference. And the last colorway that I used on this was the Fiber Seed Sprout Sock in the Pure Imagination colorway. I absolutely love this one, you guys. For the whole project, I did use a size US 6, which is a 4.0 40-inch Chaigu red lace needles. And the bag that I used on this one was my large Geeky Girls tote that I got for one of their anniversary kits that they made. I think it was the 5th one. Goodness, I can't remember. Either way, the next thing that I did finish was what I called Climbing Fairies. This is the Upstairs Downstairs a column 3 sizes pattern by Paula Emmons Fuzel. I love this pattern, you guys, and as does my intended recipient with this one. The recipient actually also picked out a colorway of Miss Babs Yowza in the Winter Fairy colorway to use for this one. Ugh, what do you guys think? I love the way that the two of these play well together. And I did use a size 7, which is 4.5 millimeter marble circs, and I think it was 24-inch circulars. Anyway, I did house this in my blue TARDIS bag by Addicted to Sock Knitting. I absolutely love this tote, you guys. But yeah, it was done like within a couple of days, if I remember correctly. It was so long ago that I actually started it and finished it. I think I managed to do it for a class. Meh. Anyway, the next thing that I did finish was what I called Candy Corn Crushing It. This again is a new project since the last time we talked. It is actually project number 3 for Quidditch for the Harry Potter Knit and Crochet House Cup. Because, yeah, I just haven't entered it yet, but I wanted to show you guys. The pattern that I used on this one was the Swirl Hat by Maddie Harrington. I did use a colorway from Gnome Makers in their House Gnome colorway in the Candy Corn colorway. I have a fair bit of this one, but I think I want to make a couple squares for a blanket and actually save most of the rest of that if I can. I don't know yet. But either way, with this project, I did use a size 3, which is a 3.25 on a 16-inch Haya Sharps. Oh, I love those needles, you guys, especially for using for socks. For hats, sorry. And actually, I hosted this in my TARDIS bag by the Knitted Broomstick. I absolutely love this one. It is the one with the Union Jack on it, so it's pretty cool. The next thing that I did finish actually has to do with the Sisters of the Wool Cowl, so I'm going to take a quick moment and explain that here before I move on. So, my sister in wool, Mercury Zelda, and I got together this past July, aka July of 2019, when she and her husband were stateside, mostly because they both live in England, and her family is here in the States, so they come visit quite a bit. We both decided that we wanted to choose a few patterns to knit along together, like we wanted to knit together, and selected several colorways we wanted to knit them in. As this is pretty much an official, unofficial cal, it will keep going until both Mercury, Zelda, and I are done with the patterns listed in the Silver Dreamland podcast group. If anyone wants to knit along with us, please go ahead and use the hashtag Sisters of the Wool KAL on all social media and in your projects. Please also feel free to post all progress photos. We'd love to have you. A quick caveat, if the patterns in the forum itself don't appeal to you, and you'd like to go ahead and knit along with us or crochet along with us, please let me know. The idea of the along is to pick a pattern and knit or crochet it along with your own wonderful woolly sister, brother, or significant other. I would be more than willing to add more patterns to that list, trust me. Another note, I also use the Sisters of the Wool phrase as a nod to an episode title that I used when Mercury Zelda was on the show, and I do not intend to imply gendering in this KAL. After all, gender is a social construct. Don't get me started on that. And also, I'm a proud non-binary myself, so I understand. Trust me. But either way, what I finished for this along was what I called We're Off to Never Neverland Silver Style. This is the Georgia on My Mind pattern by Leslie Thomas, aka Leslie of the Knit Girls. The yarn I used on this one was Sweet Georgia yarn Tough Love sock in the Neverland colorway. And I did use a size US 1, which is a 2.25 millimeter 9-inch circulars on those. Let's move on quickly to the next segment. Let's talk about hose or half objects. Obviously, it's what it says. What I do want to talk about in this segment is a project that I called Mom's Muse. This is new since the last time we talked. It is for a surprise recipient. They do know it's coming, but either way, I basically am at the gusset increases on sock number 2. So I have both pictures there. The pattern I am using on this one is the Socks on a Plane pattern by Lala, also of the Knit Girls. And I am using Knit Picks Muse hand-painted sock in the Elysian colorway. I love this colorway. It has reds in it, has darker colors. Oh, my recipient picked the colorway herself, so... Either way, I am using a size US 1.5, which is a 2.25. I'm using on 9-inch circulars up until I get to the cuff and the toes, actually. The bag that I am housing this in is my Jack Skellington bag by Molly Klein Designs. This is the blue one, the blue zipper. I love this one, guys. I'm looking at it right now. It's awesome. Either way, let's move on to the next segment. This is where I talk about the things that are currently on the needles or that I have touched and maybe put a row on since the last time we talked. The first one that I want to talk about is what I cast on yesterday, actually the 1st of March. That's what I called my March 2020 at Desert Vista Dye Works socks. The pattern I'm using on this one is a toe-up socks with a difference by Wendy D. Johnson. It's a toe-up pattern, obviously, that I've done many, many times that I absolutely love. I am planning on putting a little bit of a secret toward the end once I get past the heel. I will show that off when I get there. Either way, I am using Desert Vista Dye Works or DVD's Viso base in the My Favorite Murder podcast colorway. I absolutely love it. I can't wait to get back to them, you guys. I am using a size US 1, which is at 2.25 9-inch circulars. And I am actually using 2 16-inch circulars for the toes, heels, and the cuff as well on each sock. And this is actually being housed in my Stained Glass Beauty and the Beast bag by Molly Klein Designs. The next thing that, managed to get a fair amount of love is what I call my Flat White is Magical. I have now gotten to 46 pattern rotations in there. You can see it's kind of long, but not as long as I would like it to be at 46 pattern rotations. But that is neither here nor there. This is actually for a surprise recipient who knows who it's going to. They're just patiently waiting for me to finish it. And the yarn that I'm using on this one is Sweet Georgia Yarns Tough Love Sock in the Magician colorway, which is, oh, I love this purple color, you guys. And I am using a size US 3, which is a 3.25 29-inch Haya Sharps needle for that one. The next thing that I did cast on since the last time we talked is what I called Blue Tate Chai Rag Silver Style. This is another for the hashtag Sisters of the Wool KAL. This is the Chai Latte Socks by CC Almond. And I am using Cascade yarns in the Heritage Silk Paints colorway, which is 8826, which is Blue Tate according to their website. I love these blues. I think I'm actually saying that wrong. Tate? I think it's a bird. I'm not too sure, you guys. Yeah. Anyway, I really love the blues of this pattern, of this yarn. All right, and I am using a size US 1, which is a 2.25 millimeter on 9-inch circulars now, and the toes, heels, and cuffs will probably be done on 2 16-inch circulars. Just because of the way that I knit, I do need a little bit of extra room to put in a heel. That's just the way it goes, right, guys? And I am hosting this project in my Zelda stained glass top by Slip Stitch Studios. The next thing that I did cast on since the last time we talked and got a fair amount of love on was what I called It's Getting Dangerous. I am currently up to part 2, which is a section where short rows happen. I literally just started that, I'd say a couple days ago. It looks pretty good so far. What do you think? In case you're wondering, this is the Fractal Danger pattern by Martina Bam. I am using, again, the Knit Picks Muse hand-painted sock in the Elation colorway to match said socks. The recipient got way too much yarn for a pair of socks. So I thought, they've been eyeballing this pattern that I've made for myself a couple times for a while, so I thought it was time. We shall see how well it goes over. I will let you know during holiday time. Either way, sorry, I go on random tangents. That's what I do. I am using a size US 5, which is a 3.75 millimeter needle. I am using a pair of Knit Picks. I don't remember the brand, you guys. I'm sorry, the bag is way too far away from me. It came up in my yarning room. I don't know why. I cleaned up right before. Spoiler alert. Anyway, this is actually being housed in my black Outlander bag by the Knitted Broomstick. I absolutely love the bag too, so it works out perfectly. The next thing that did get, I'd say, oh goodness, a good fair bit of work is what I called Forever Minty. The pattern that I'm using is, it has always been Forever for me, Sahana Shawl. It's a Outlander inspired pattern, obviously. And this is actually by CC Almond. I am using 2 different colorways of Lolo Did It plush sock. The first one was Barely There Mint, and the second one was Sahana. I can never say it right, you guys. I'm sorry. I am not a Gaelic speaker. Either way, and I am using a size US 4, which is a 3.5 millimeter on 40-inch Chaigu red lace needles. So I actually have one more section and then the bind off. So I'm hoping I'll be done by the end of the month. I'm hoping. We shall see. It's been on the needles long enough. Let's see. Oh, the next thing that I did work a fair bit on is what I called I Can Hear the Bells. I have got all of the squares for the blanket done. I am working on the border now. I'm actually planning on doing lots of trebles around the edge until the yarn runs out, because quite frankly, I don't think I'm going to be using the Karen 1 pound in the yellow, black, and off-white colorways, I think, for much else. And like I mentioned, this was a 5-round granny square blanket with a bunch of random stuff on the border. So I will, like I said, I love the way that it's working out, and I think that the recipients of this blanket will also appreciate that. I have been sending update photos to somebody else who actually helped get the yarn and whatever for this blanket. So it's kind of like I guess you can say, multiple person project, even though I'm doing all the work. Either way, sorry, I am digressing hardcore. Can you tell that the coffee hasn't quite kicked in yet? Either way, I am actually using a 5.5 millimeter or an eye hook for this one. This is again the Jimmy Bean Smart Stick one that I have. It's purple. I love it. And the last project that has gotten, I'd say, a fair amount of progress since the last time you saw it was what I called Scraptastic DVD. I actually managed to get around 2 different corners, and I think to the next quarter of Desert Vista Dye Works scraps. I do have a full list of all the colorways that I'm using for this, so just go ahead and see my project page. There are a lot. And I am actually using the pattern 10 and I am using the 10 stitch blanket by Frankie Brown. I love the way that this is working out. And I am actually knitting this on a size US 5, which is a 3.75 millimeter carbon straights for the pickup along the edge, as well as DP ends up into the corners. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and move on to the next segment. Silver's unraveling fast. Now, this is where I do tend to talk about all the different things that I have ripped out or restarted for whatever reason. The first one is completely new since the last time we talked. I called this the Scrappy Happy Desert Vista Dye Works, or DVD. This was a project I had originally intended on making a large granny square with. I had gotten to the 4th or 5th colorway and then realized, oh shoot, it's going to be way too big, and I still have a lot of yarn that I want to put in this blanket. So I changed it from a square by itself to the pattern, the Granny Stripes pattern by Attic 24. So that way I have it for a while. And I'm using a lot of miscellaneous Desert Vista scraps, basically whatever's left over from these socks over the past almost 2.5 years that I've been doing the count. Basically, I also have a list of colorways for this one in my project page for this one as well. Yeah, I had decided that I wanted to do years 2, 3, and whatever is left over into this blanket, and the 10 stitch blanket just have year 1. Like I said, I changed my mind a lot. But yeah, either way, I'm using a G hook, which is a 4.5 millimeter hook. I'm actually currently working on it right now. It's one of those boil needles. And it's blue, so I can find it. So that's good. I don't have a bag that this is actually being housed in at the moment. Until it gets a little bit larger, I think I'm going to store it in the Ziploc bag where I have all of my Desert Vista scraps in. Just so that I know where to find it, kind of thing. I don't know yet. We shall see. Because it folds up nice. It's not like it really needs a bag of its own. I'm trying to convince myself, you guys. Either way, I do have another project that I went ahead and ripped out and restarted this month. It is simply what I'm calling my Scrappy Happy blanket. This was originally the Northeasterly pattern that I had been working on, and I had gotten about, like, I'd say a whole column and a half, I think, before I finally looked at it and decided I haven't worked on it, goodness, in 2 months. I need to do something else. So what I decided to do was ripped it out. I have now created with a total of 11 round granny squares that I will attach all together later. I'm using a lot of fingering weight scraps. I couldn't tell you all that's in there. A majority of the squares will be about 90 yards each. That's all I know. I'll go ahead and I will make a list as I go along with all of the different scraps and how much yardage, because I eventually do want to put that in for stash, but it might be a few years yet. Either way, I am actually using a size 4.25 millimeter, which is a G hook. Actually, it's the same hook that I'm using right now. So yeah, a lot of the time my crochet projects will have well, the same crochet hook for all of them, because I think I have 4 other crochet hooks that aren't middle and rank, and yeah. Let's just put it this way. I inherited all of my great grandmother's crochet hooks, and she used them well. Either way, I really do digress. I am housing the Scrappy Happy blanket in my Fireflies bag by Bags by Awesome Granny. It has a lot of scraps in it as we speak, as well as the 7 completed squares. With that, let's move on to the next segment. Back to the future. Now, this is where I go ahead and I talk about the things that are upcoming to the needles. Let's just say I have a massive list of things that I want to cast on. Most of these are going to be holiday gifts. Yes, you heard that right. I have been thinking about all the holiday gifts that I'm making this year. This way I can give myself plenty of time to finish everything, especially since a lot of them have very detailed patterns and stuff. I won't say which pattern will go to each recipient, but I can show off the patterns that I'll be casting on this year. The first one I want to do would be the Sneaks Not Playing pattern by Lala for another recipient. I also want to plan on doing the Simple Skip Socks by Adrienne Koo for several of my recipients. I also want to do Doctor Who Reverse Polarity Socks by Rosie Rose for a recipient who is a big science fiction nerd as I am. Where do you think I learned it? Anyway, the next thing that I do want to do, hopefully as an owl or part of an owl, for the Harry Potter House Cup thought I wanted to do it in autumn. Either way, MTI has been asking for a scarf for a while because the one I made him, I'd say 10 years ago at this point. Oh my goodness. It's been a while. But yeah, he decided he wanted to have a double knit scarf that's called the Old School Space Invaders scarf by Emily Sontag. As the pattern suggests, yes, it's gaming related. And that's why he picked it. And he picked his colorways, so don't be surprised. Anyway, the last thing that I want to go ahead and cast on this year is actually a pattern for myself that I've had in my queue probably since I heard of the Downton Abbey series. Is the Downton Farewell pattern by Phil Langerman. Yes, I know that's quite a bit that I want to go ahead and cast on soon. So with that in mind, I am going to go ahead and move on to the next segment. Let's move on to X's and O's. This is the part where I talk about all of the different things that I also work on besides knit and crochet. You guys, I have done a little bit of cross stitching since the last time we talked. I did get inspired by Cece of the Geeky Girls Knit and Cross Stitch podcast. I am actually working on the Butterfly Forest pattern by Dimensions. Isn't it so awesome? This is actually part of their gold collection that I bought, oh goodness, at least 10 years ago, I think. I actually thought that the fact that I hadn't stitched in about 8 years would be a problem when starting it, but I pretty much dove head first in on Saturday, and I think I did pretty good. What do you think? I'm actually currently working on the center butterfly and kind of working out from there. So it's not much to look at right now, but hopefully by the end of the month I'll have a little bit more progress, right? The other thing is that I also wrote a bunch, and I repeat, a lot of blog posts onto my personal blog. I had 20 FO parade posts that I honestly was putting up just because of the time and effort that it takes to make the indexes to go with the FO posts. But I finally got my butt in gear and got that all together. What I also haven't put on my show notes is I did start thinking about possibly going through and figuring out what stories or what books that I've started over the years that I have not finished, and figure out why, and if I'm going to even continue with said stories. But I'll keep you posted, don't worry. I'm going to move on to the next segment. Radio GaGa. Here is where I talk about all the different things that I do listen to. Since the last time we talked, I have mostly just been listening to podcasts. And they include And That's Why We Drink, Martinis and Murder, Wine and Crime, Outlander Cast, Harry Potter and the Sacred Text, True Crime Daily, My Favorite Murder, The Murder Squad, and Associates Anonymous. I am so far behind all of the shows that I normally listen to, but those are the ones that I managed to finish. I might explain that later. Anyway, with that in mind, I'm going to go ahead and move on to the next segment. Silver's book pile. Yes, this is where I talk about all the different things that I am currently reading or things that I have finished reading since the last time we talked. I have a long list of books that I finished, obviously, since it's been a while. I have finished Addicted to You and Lost in You by Serena Gray. I've also finished Claimed by the Captain by Verity Vixen, A Seal's Oath, A Seal's Vow, and A Seal's Pledge, and A Seal's Consent, all by Cora Sutton. I have finished Anything But Okay by Sarah Dare Littman. It's actually a close to my region author, so that does count for a few alongs that I'm reading for. I'll explain next time, I promise. I read The Bootleg Billionaire by Georgia Sand, Stone Cold by Olivia Regal, Becoming Powerless by S.N. Kunt, K-U-N-T. Anyway, I've read Breathless by Eve Carter, Family Care by Jessica Caliver, Riding with the Cop by J.S. Scott, Three Brides, No Groom by Debbie Maycomer, also No Ordinary Love by Anne Christopher, Material Witness by L.A. Mondello, First of All by Olivia Blake, The Envelope by Emily Josephine, License to Date by Susan Hattler, Shattered Promises by Jessica Sorensen, E.S. Boss by Julian Connors, Christmas at the Chateau by Lorraine Wilson, Longing for Forever by Deborah Compton, Obsessed with This Curvy Girl by Autumn Summers, The Deal by Stella Gray, All I Want Is a Kiss by Willow Winters, Playing to Win by Macy Monroe, Stolen by a Star by R.G. Winter, and A Pirate of Her Own and Master of Seduction by Kinley McGregor. I have also finished reading Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince, the reading portion of that. I am currently waiting for Harry Potter and the Sacred Text to finish up. I decided that I was done waiting for the end of the book, mostly because I know how do I put this? I know how sad the rest of the book is for me, and I honestly just wanted to get it done in one fell swoop right away, as quickly as I possibly could. And I did. And I currently have 4 books that I am in the middle of reading. The first one is What to Wear to a Seduction by Sari Robbins. Also Changing Ways by Julia Tannenbaum. There's also I'm also for the first time reading Stranger Beside Me by Anne Rule. And I am still listening to Echo in the Bone by Diana Gabaldon. I am going to be reading/listening to that one, I think, for a little while yet. It's a long book. Either way, I'm going to move on to the next segment. Silver and the Case of the Screen Time. Now, this is where we talk about all of the different things that I have been watching. And a lot of my time over the past couple months has definitely been watching some TV and other things. In terms of TV, I have been watching Manifest. I have done a whole rewatch of Doctor Who. I've done a rewatch of Outlander. I have watched I have watched all but one episode of the season of Doctor Who, which I'm going to get to as soon as I finish putting everything up today. I also have been watching the first 3 episodes of Outlander. There's a new series to me, and actually a new series in general, called Zoe's Extraordinary Playlist. It does have like Lauren Graham in there, a bunch of people from like Pitch Perfect and Glee and everyone you can possibly imagine. There's a lot of people that have been in musical theater type TV programs before that I have watched. This is, like I mentioned, this is the Zoe's Extraordinary Playlist. They're on episode 3 as of last night. Oh, I loved that episode. I think that was the first episode where I was bawling. Didn't take much, guys, I'm telling you. But anyway, the next thing that I am watching is a show called 911 Lone Star. This has a couple more episodes until the season finale, I believe. There is a show called Prodigal Son that I've been watching. Let's see, Supernatural hasn't been back in a couple weeks, but I did watch the ones before that. The Masked Singer season 3 started already. Love it. There's a show called Nancy Drew that actually called my attention. This show revolves obviously around Nancy Drew, but it has like a mystery and supernatural elements to it. It's so weird and I love it. I can't wait until Wednesday for the episode. And actually, all the shows that I mentioned, including this new one called Lego Masters, yes, all of them can be streamed. I double checked those for it. If you would like to go ahead and catch up. Let's see. Oh, I did watch a few movies since the last time we talked. Not many. The movie with Christina Aguilera and Cher in it called Burlesque. I love that movie. I think I've watched that 4 times in the past year, I think. There's also another movie that I have had on my queue for a while to rewatch. It's called Pop Rocks. It's like Gary Snipes in it and or Gary Sinise, sorry. And a couple other people that, I don't know. It was a Disney ABC Family Channel movie back in the day. And then I recorded it on my VHS and the VHS player finally gave up the ghost. So I had to find it on YouTube. It's available. It's amazing what you guys can find on YouTube nowadays, let me tell you. Let's see. Oh, another movie I watched was One for the Money, which is the book by Janet Vakovich. I don't know why I really like watching the movie, but I do. A Galaxy Quest. Definitely needed to watch that. I also watched the original It, as well as the It from 2017. I have to say, I enjoyed the original better because it does include both the kids and the adult segment. In the new movie, they do separate that out into 2 different movies, which I wasn't going to pay for the second part if I didn't even like the first part, let's be honest. Anyway, I have been watching a fair bit of podcasts now. I'm trying to catch up on all the podcasts I normally watch, and I have a few more that, are coming up and around the bends. I have been watching Adore Knit, Dramatic Knits, Knitters League, the Knit Girls, Geeky Girls Knit and Cross Stitch podcast, as well as Stitching the High Notes, the Fiber Circus, Tea and Possibilities, and Stockinette Zombies. Other things that I did watch a little bit of this past couple months, there was a documentary that was called Chris Watts' Confessions of a Murderer, because you know me and some true crime. The other thing that I watched live on TV was Super Bowl on Super Bowl Sunday. Let's see. Oh, and a lot of really what's gotten me so far behind in all of my podcast watching. I made a list of close to 500 random YouTube videos, anything from like random car crashes to retail revenge type things. It's like, I don't know, whatever I felt like watching, I put on that list, and I just kind of keep watching it and adding to it and whatever. So it ended up being almost 500 random YouTube videos. Speaking of which, that list still has 100 left to go on it. Anyway, I digress a little bit. Before I keep rambling, I'm going to go ahead and move on to the next segment. The more you know. Yes, this is where I talk about anything administrativeness, including a Cal breakdown. The one that I participate in a lot of the time is the Harry Potter knit and crochet house cup that you'll have at least 3 classes coming out of my end, and like Quidditch projects and owls, or anything related to Harry Potter house cup I will talk about as it comes up in the podcast. However, in this particular segment, I tend to go over the one that I'm hosting, or I'm helping to host in any case, which is called the Great Podcaster Craft Together. So you guys know, this is a CAL, or a craft along, that I'm actually hosting in this whole year. It started on January 1st and will end on December 31st. Basically, if you are a podcaster and would like to help host an FO thread on your Ravelry board as well, that's fine. We do have one in a separate group. Chatter threads are even better. That way people can chat on your threads as well as directly in the long. If you're officially participating in the long, please go ahead and just send me a PM directly. I will add you to the list of podcasters participating. And you'll get your podcast banner directly onto that particular board, and I'll add you to the list of moderators so you can mod if you would like. And that's all if you would like. However, if you do listen to any podcast and you're not a podcaster yourself and you would like to go ahead and join, please go ahead and feel free to go ahead and please spread the word. If you'd like to go ahead to do so and follow along, we do have a hashtag, which is TGPAL, Tango Girl Peter Apple Larry 2020 on Instagram and everywhere. I'll go ahead and I'll put that hashtag down below here as I'm talking. Anyway, the rules are pretty simple for this along. You must be a member of the you must be a member of the Along Ravelry group. If you are not on Ravelry anymore and still would like to go ahead and join, you can go ahead and use the hashtag on Instagram or even on Facebook. And I will make sure to go ahead and grab FO pictures from that feed throughout the year as well, so that way you can get credit for the projects that you finish. A new rule for 2020, there isn't going to be a minimum yardage goal, so have at it. So individual socks do count, unless of course that you finish the pair. Only one pair of socks will count once throughout the CAL. Sorry about that. That's just how the pairs rule will go. Any project that you finish in 2020 will count. Non-Ravelry project will also count. I just ask that you post before and after photos. Non-Ravelry crafts do include like needlepoint, the cross stitching that I mentioned before that I do, as well as scrapbooking, there's cooking, latch hooking, anything really. Anything that you finish in the course of 2020. That does include the diamond painting, because I love those diamond paintings, you guys. Anyway, poly dipping is allowed and even encouraged. If you do wish to share your projects in other alongs, that would be awesome. I do encourage that. Just let us know what alongs you enter, and then that way we can go ahead and participate in those alongs as well, depending on the rules of that along. Now, in the case of scrappy blankets, 1 stripe or 3 squares count as an FO in this context, because quite frankly, like myself, who isn't working on some version of a scrappy blanket, or like 3 or 4, however, whatever the number may be. I'm not here to shame anyone, just myself. Anyway, what you're here for, the prizes. If you would like to go ahead and donate a prize, I would like to say, please PM me directly on Ravelry, or you can DM me on Instagram if you'd like to add something to the prize pool. I am still collecting prizes. I'm trying to still collect a grand prize. I just got a really late start on getting things together last year. I'm so sorry. Either way, what we have so far is we do have 12 individual $10 under US dollar patterns on Ravelry. I am going to donate 4 total copies of my Proud to Be Me pattern. That's 1 per quarter. in the event that you've already gotten that pattern from me, I will let you pick a pattern you would like. So don't feel bad about responding, or, you know, if you happen to win one and you already have it, don't worry about it. We'll work that out at the time. What's also being given away is a free pattern from Java Brawl Designs that's given away one per month. So it's a total of 12. This year, I'm actually going to mention it here in the list of prizes. For every 50 FOs, I will actually be highlighting designers from Ravelry that may or may not be the highlighted designers from the day. And I will be giving away one of their giftable patterns. Now, if you know of any unknown or lesser known designers on Ravelry who really do deserve our love, please let me know. I'd love to add them to the list. Since the beginning of the year, we have had over 150 FOs entered in the thread. To this end, I will be selecting 3 winners to win a pattern from the following designers' Ravelry stores. The first one, we're getting to 50 FOs. I will be giving away a pattern from Saga Cinegrid. Sorry. She's actually a member of the Harry Potter Knit and Crochet House Club. I love her. She's amazing. Anyway, for getting to 100 FOs, I'm going to be giving away a pattern from Napier's Knits Ravelry store. And here's a good one. For hitting 150 FOs, we're going to be highlighting Knit Central, who has their own Ravelry store. Amazing patterns, you guys. Oh, can't wait to show them off. Let's see. Oh, new since the last time we talked as well. Do have 3 different skeins of yarn from Desert Vista Dye Works. 2 on her Visa base. The first one is Neon Cotton Candy. I love this one, you guys. And the second one is Somebody Needs Some Courage. And now also on their Zen or their Sparkle base, the colorway The Mother of All Somebody Queens. It's an 8 striper. It's amazing, you guys. I'm jealous of whoever wins these, you guys. Oh, can you tell I wanted some fun colorways for them? Anyway, I still do have and from Nice and Knit, we do have the Sand Dollar colorway on their fingering base. We also do have a skein of Sweet Georgia Yarns Rainbow Sprinkles donated by the owner of the New England Yarn and Spindle LLC store, which is actually happens to be my LYS. Oh, I love those people. I go in, I feel like family when I go in. Anyway, and from Knit Picks, we are also giving away a gold needle organizer. Let's talk about who finished objects in January. So congratulations must go to Craftworker, D-Door4, I Now Hour, Jodadiah, Knit Central, Knitter Chow, Elle McCall, Meditative Crafter, Moe's Crochet, Nicole S., Original Sin, The Zenica, Trilinda, V Shaw 7, and VT Kimmy Kim. So congratulations everyone for entering your FOs in January. Those were a lot of FOs we had, you guys. 100 of them. Oy. Let's also talk about who entered FOs in February. So congratulations must go to Detour 4, I Now Hour, Jodadiah, Knit Central, Elle McCall, Meditative Crafter, Moe's Crochet, Nicole S., Original Sin, The Zenica, Trilinda, V Shaw 7, and VT Kimmy Kim. Congratulations everyone. Thank you so much for entering your FOs. I love watching them all come through. Can you tell? Okay, I'm going to be relatively serious for the next couple minutes. If you hadn't already noticed, I have been hitting that love button on every project because I cannot get enough of the awesomeness that you've been working on and working hard to finish this past couple months. It's honestly who I am. I do like to share the love and to celebrate everyone's accomplishments, obviously. If you do agree with me and like to go ahead and start doing so, that would be awesome. However, there will be an added twist for those that do go ahead and join me in this. At the end of every month this year, I will actually be awarding what I call the most lovers, the ones with the most hearts on their project, with a pattern of their choice on Ravelry. So, Make sure you go ahead and hit the love button on your favorite FOs from post 101 through 170 before midnight on the 1st of April, as that is when I will be locking that thread and awarding all prizes. And just so you know what you're looking for, it is the honorable mentions February post form that you're looking for. And in that form, I do ask that you make sure you leave a comment there to let me know that you voted. And there will also be a prize for those that go ahead and vote as well. Oh, yes, you want to know who won prizes this month, right? The first one that I drew for was the $10 under pattern. This goes to post number 61, who is VT Kimmy Kim. Congratulations. The winner of a Java Pearl Designs pattern goes to post number 28, who is Craft Worker. The person who had the most loves from January was post number 96, who is Nicole S. And the person who won the most votes from the most memorable January thread was post number 3, who is Vishaw7. Congratulations, everyone. If you could, go ahead and PM me directly on Ravelry. That is Silverluna2112. Just let me know which pattern you would like. And then that way I'll make sure to get over to you as soon as possible. Now, let's move on to the designers we wanted to highlight, right? The winner of the pattern from Stengus and Green goes to post number 52, who is Nicole S. The winner of the Napier's Knits pattern goes to post number 22, who is V Shaw 7. And the winner of the Knit Central pattern goes to post number 112, who is D Door 4. So congratulations. If you can go ahead and just check out each of the Ravelry stores and let me know which pattern you would like, I will send it right over. And all of those links can be found directly in the notes below, as well as on the show notes page as well. With that, I am going to go ahead and move on to the next segment. My favorite things. Now, this segment is where I talk about all the different things that have come up in my life since the last time we talked. It can be anything, literally anything. The first thing that I want to talk about is I will be going to a knit night with the Nice and Knit folks at Luann's Bakery in Ellington, Connecticut, from about 2:30 to about 7 p.m. on Saturday. I absolutely love these events, and Luann's is amazing. Sorry. I can go on for literally hours about how much I like that little place. I love that coffee shop. So everyone knows, sorry, the event is currently filled up. I literally just looked. However, I will be linking both the Luann's Bakery down below as well as Nice and Knit if you would like to see what yarn and patterns that the Nice and Knit folks carry. Let's see, something that was not so yummy and not so favorite. We had I'd say major leak with our water heater. We do have a new one. This is basically how MTI and I spent Valentine's Day. What can I say? But we got really lucky where his uncle actually works for a company that does that. So we got to see the nephew of the company, which is great. Oh, yes, Mark's cousin, MTI's cousin, came out and fixed it all for us. So now we're all good. Now the next thing that I'm going to talk about, I have quite a bit of stuff that has come into the house over the past couple months. In terms of books from Amazon, I got the Anything But Okay and Changing Ways books that I mentioned before. Let's see. Oh, from New England Yarn and Spindle LLC, like I mentioned, was my LYS. I did get the Wonderland Yarns and Fraptious Fibers Queen of Hearts in the Marianne colorway. I also did get West Yorkshire Spinners Signature 4-ply in the colorway 0713, which is a red, green, and dark gray. I absolutely love it. I also did get Reggio, which is the Arnie and Carlos, in the colorway 03656, which is a blue. Both of those colorways that I just mentioned, I am going to be using for, well, I have no idea yet, but I think socks for one of my recipients for the holidays, I'm thinking. I also did get a rainbow row counter, which absolutely gorgeous, you guys. What do you think? And also, that's where I picked up the Sweet Georgia Yarns Rainbow Sprinkles colorway for the cow. Let's see. Oh, from Adorn Knit, I did get the 13th Dr. Progress Keeper. I also did get the Hufflepuff marker set, but of course, I also did get a blue mini marker set as well, like Minnie Mouse. I also did get this wonderful Progress Keeper that says, I love Doctor Who, as a added bonus. I love it. Thank you so much, Stephanie, for adding that in there. I have been using that pretty much nonstop, especially on my socks. Anyway, I have gotten several shipments from Desert Vista Dye Works. For myself, I did get the My Favorite Murder colorway, as well as Daphne Zombie. Love this colorway, you guys. And I also got Zombie and Mystery Machine, which, again, I love these two colorways. I think Daphne and the Mystery Machine, I think they're going to be the next couple of Desert Vista Dye Works colors that I do. We shall see. And like I mentioned before, I also did, at that same time, get the 3 colorways for the long, which is the Neon Cotton Candy colorway, as well as Somebody Needs Some Courage and the Mother of All Somebody Queens. I absolutely love those colors. The next shipment that I did get from Desert Vista came, I think, 2 or 3 days ago, and I have been trying to put it off as much as possible. A little bit of background information. Like you guys know, I do the Desert Vista Dye Works sock along every month, and with that along, the more Instagram posts that you do, you get entered into getting different prizes and some such. For having over 100 posts for the whole year, I won a skein of their yarn, which I chose, which is Brew Frap. I love this like purple colorway. Oh, it's absolutely gorgeous. I don't know when I'm going to work on it, but anyway, the second thing that came in that shipment was the prize for doing all 12 pairs in 2019. This was actually a free skein that they do offer. It is, I'm going to put up a spoiler alert here as I'm talking about it. It's amazing, just in case you haven't received it yourself yet. I know there are a lot of people on Instagram saying, yes, we got it, it's so cute, whatever. Anyway, if you're not wanting to be spoiled, I will go ahead and put a timestamp here, so that way you can go ahead and skip ahead if you'd like. You on? Okay. The colorway is called Sonoran Sunset. I absolutely love this color. I saw it and I'm like, oh, I want this to be the next one I do. But I'm not sure. I'll have to vote on that later. Oh, anyway. Okay, you can come back now. With that, I'm actually going to go ahead and move on to the next segment. Let's move on to the end of the road. It's exactly what it sounds like. I am pretty social. You can find me on our Ravelry board, which is Silver's Dreamland podcast. I am Silverluna2112. They're on Ravelry. On Facebook, Silver's Dreamland can be found at www.facebook.com/Silver's Dreamland. I'm going to be honest, I'm not there a lot of the time, but you can go ahead and post there if you would like to. On Instagram, I am at Silver's Treats. On Twitter, I am at Silver's Knitting. So you know, I do tend to read through all messages as soon as I possibly can on every social media platform. If you don't hear from me within 24 hours, for some reason I'm taking a break from social media, please go ahead and feel free to email me directly at silversdreamland@gmail.com. I'm usually always attached to that email. And as always, everything that I do talk about can be found directly in the show notes below. Or if you're looking for more details, I do put everything there on my podcast page, which is silverstreamlandpodcast.com. If you haven't done so already, please go ahead and feel free to subscribe and hit the bell down below. This way others can find me in my little corner of YouTube. That, and you can see when I post videos, which I think is what you're looking for. Okay, all right. I have rambled for long enough. I know your time is valuable. So please feel free to go ahead and join in any discussion, or you can even start your own directly on the Silver's Dreamland Ravelry board. I don't bite, I promise, no matter what MTI says. Anyway, if you're feeling generous, please go ahead and hit that like button below this video so that others can find my show as well. And subscribe if you haven't already. And please stay tuned for episode 85 in about 2 weeks. Until next time, happy crafting!